Marshall, are you here to give us some fresh perspective, please?
I am here, and that Cam Newton. I think sometimes people are just insensitive to the fact that we are human beings, and regardless of what our professional careers are or that we play professional sports, when things happen, I mean, just like anyone else, we're lucky to be alive. If you think about Rob Baronis, he had a car accident and died, and people were like, "Wow, what happened to Rob?" And you have Cam walk away from something that like you said, it's horrific, and he escaped the near grasp of death. Most accidents end with a fatality, and it's beyond football. Let's just say that it's about life when you talk about stuff like this.
Again, when he talks about being on God's fantasy squad, what an incredible thing for him to say, and also the perspective of it all. I mean, we were having you call in just to talk about a game last night, but then you think about the bigger picture of everything, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with him and see if he does have some fresh perspective. I mean, he's obviously a good kid, and he's got a good head on his shoulders, but I can't even imagine.
I think anytime you go through something like that, your perspective on life is it creates a focus on how special it is, and to some in thought you would think, wow, is he going to be a better player, or is he going to look at football and say, how important is this? It's a game.
Yeah.
Should I not be taking it that serious? You never know where the mind might go in this case for Cam Newton, but we do know that he is super, super lucky to still be with us.
No kidding. Let's transition quickly away from Cam. Well, obviously, nothing great happened in the game last night for anybody, except for the Rams continually destroying some Arizona quarterbacks left, right, and center. But the lowest scoring game of the year, field goal after field goal. How did you stay awake for that one last night, Marshall?
It was tough. It was tough.
Because I know how you are, and it's, thank God it was inside.
The only person that was, excited about the game was Coach Cowher. Mm-hmm. That was his kind of football game. He was thoroughly enjoying the defensive battle and how those two teams got after it. But I'll tell you what I was excited about, and I continue to watch this and watch him do the things that he's doing. When you hear people talk about, oh, you can't win in this league if you don't have an Aaron Rodgers, a Tom Brady, a Drew Brees, a Peyton Manning, and you have a team that's 11-3 and they play 4 quarterbacks because a guy understands offense. He understands what type of defense of coordinator he wanted, regardless of what Todd Bowles did before he got to be with Bruce Arians, and they have coaches that believe in teaching and not advocating and pounding their chests for what kind of coach they are or should they be coach of the year. Bruce Arians won another football game last night against a really good defensive team with Drew Stanton and Ryan Lindley.
It's kind of incredible. I mean, really, it's
exactly.
improbable how that happened.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's crazy, Marshall. We have a really Heisman-heavy day today. We have Tim Brown, we've got Archie Griffin on, we've got Charlie Ward on. Let me ask you this. If you could have had that elusive Heisman, would you rather have traded away the Marshall Faulk lifestyle for that Heisman?
No, you know what? So. And I'll tell you this, Susie, and I'll explain this to other people. Part of why I was the player that I was being snubbed. I'm gonna say that added fuel to the fire of people really not thinking. I'm like, you really think Gino Torretta is better than me?
Seriously.
I mean, like, you really? And then, it actually took me a while, because I'm not going to lie, when you're in college and you go through that, you're really not educated to what the Heisman is all about and what the hype is and basically what they're doing, what they're promoting. And they're not out for promoting the best collegiate player. you know, they want a certain type of player from a certain type of school to win the Heisman, and that's that. And so that's why, you know, a big school on the East Coast is always they're always winning it. Was I a better player in college than Gino Torretta? Ask the guys who he threw the football to.
Right. Right.
So it really and it added to me coming into the league, maybe being more focused, maybe not being as cocky as I could have been, and I was thankful. I was really thankful that the Heisman Committee, that I did not get it, because I may not have became the player that I was. I may not have worked as hard and felt like I had something to prove. And I think that's the case with most of the guys that win the Heisman. You know, it's very few guys, and I give them huge props when you win a Heisman, you win a Super Bowl, and you have a gold jacket. I mean, and
that doesn't happen very often.
That's the trifecta in the game. You know, if you throw a national championship in there, my God, you just, I mean, what else is there left to do?
Not much, except go on and live a really good lifestyle. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens for. I mean, come on, it's Marcus Mariota. We all know it's going to be him tomorrow. But you know. I
mean, yeah, I get that. I get that it's Mariota, and I'm all for it being Mariota. Like, wow, kid has had a great a great run. It's been awesome. You know, but my thing is, and no knock on him. All the receivers he's throwing the football to are wide open.
I hear you.
Is he going to be a good pro, Marshall?
Say that again?
Is he going to be a good pro?
I mean, if a team decides to put him into that system,
it's all about the system, Chris.
Then yes. I don't know if any of these quarterbacks that's playing in the spread is ready to just run a pro style offense. And unless you have a coach that's very secure in his job, to where he could take that quarterback and then get him ready for the NFL, then it's not going to work. But for the most part, you know, he appears to be a pretty darn good quarterback. But I think it's systematic. You know, it's like, I'll tell you this. It's like watching Mark Sanchez when he plays against a team that has an okay defense, compared to watching him play against Seattle when you have to make really good, precise throws. That's the difference.
I hear you. Marshall, we are 60 seconds away from Tim Brown calling in, because I said it's a very Heisman-heavy Friday. Do you think he gets in this year? Is this his year finally?
I hope so, man. I hope so. It's just, you know, it's because of where the league is right now with throwing the football. People forget about what Tim Brown did in the return game as a receiver. And they put, you know, I don't know what they put an emphasis on. Let's be honest. They don't tell us what it is. Even being a Hall of Famer, you really don't know how guys get in, other than, you know, you have that kind of career where you say, man, there's no way he's not getting in. And I'm not going to lie, I thought Tim Brown was one of those guys. I thought
he'd walk in much sooner than this, but.
Yeah, I thought he was one of those guys. And,
I think he's ready to be fitted for a yellow jacket, don't you think?
Yeah, I hope that's the case. I hope so. I'm a huge fan of Tim Brown. I was a huge fan of his back when he was at Notre Dame. Huge fan when he was with the Raiders, and I love the person that he is off the field. If you met Tim Brown or you know Tim Brown, just a classy guy.
See, I like that you hang out with classy guys. That's because you're a class act, Marshall.
Yeah, I hang out with Rich Eisen.
Oh, God. and he catches balls, too, doesn't he, in St. Louis. Marshall, thanks again for joining us. Say hi to Kurt, please, and all the guys in St. Louis. And I always appreciate
you. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you having my back, as always.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.